And I just want to make sure I got a photographer here shooting this as well. And the issues, of course, I know as Jerry was saying, I was just going to ask you about your leadership team. I know you can't talk specifics on certain issues. I understand that. The pay for performance or the bonus, COVID-19, and then the new building. Okay.
Okay. Let me, just 1 second. I want to miss it. Okay. Yes, that's great.
Okay, great. And just because I know you're busy. First off, let me ask you a little bit about the leadership team. Are you able to put together your own team now that you're the interim CEO?
Jim, I'm the interim CEO and working for the board, and I'm going to be there for a period of time. So what we're doing is reviewing the team, and I brought in some retired executives to help during this period of time. And making sure that everybody really is continuing to focus on delivering great service for our customers. So ongoing evaluation continues, but you'll hear more in the future.
Is there, would you say, turmoil at all, though, in this transition?
I have been very, very pleased with the optimism expressed by our rank and file. One of the first groups that I spoke with were our bargaining unit presidents. And we've had 2 meetings since I've come on board just 7 days ago, 8 working days. And they've been great conversations. Through this period of time, and one of the things that I said to the board that I thought I could help with was helping the JEA employees and providing them, quite frankly, with the dignity, respect, and trust that they've earned through the years. And that clearly is one of my 4 missions as I go through this interim CEO process with the board.
And I know it's difficult. Well, let me ask you a little bit then on some other issues on this. We had talked about I know the board will be discussing tomorrow the pay for performance. I call it a bonus, but that's the yearly bonus that they receive. Is that correct? Is this now kind of off the table, or where do we stand with that?
Well, if I can just clarify a little bit. I think tomorrow's meeting, publicly noticed meeting, is really about the building, the headquarters building. On Monday, we had a finance and audit committee meeting that had a long agenda, and part of that was some open dialogue. And Chair Lanahan, with the support of the other members, charged us with providing the board with a workshop on the incentive compensation plan that JEA has had for over 25 years. And the board is particularly interested in terms of the total payroll covered, the percent and the amount paid, but I think even more importantly, the value created. What were the savings generated out of those plans in order to pay for the incentive? And so that they really want to get a holistic look about that in terms of helping behavior focus on key business drivers. The incentive compensation plan for JEA has a very long 25-year successful history, and we've just got to share that with the board.
So right now, no decision either way, or if that will remain or if it could evolve in some way or change.
Well, of course, everyone knows that the city council has 2 committees going on, and certainly the one committee looking at the future of JEA, this issue has surfaced out of that, and there is some pending legislation that was introduced, I think last week. And so, yes, we'll have continuing dialogue on that, but I don't think there's a decision at this point.
Very good. Let me ask you then too on COVID-19. When you see JEA, like the doors open again, that to your customers, or what are we going to see?
We are working towards a June 1st, and I think it's probably appropriate to say a soft opening. Our people have been working in the field and maintaining the systems in the plants, have been operating and operating safely under COVID-19 standards of social distancing and disinfection, et cetera, of places. And so we've been very diligent about that. And fortunately, our workforce has been extremely safe and blessed to only have a few people that have been affected by this horrible virus. The soft opening will be the opening of facilities, but not pulling everyone back in at first. Those that can continue to work from home, some will stay in a remote telecommute mode. Others will come in shifts, but the scale and scope of JEA is very broad. So there's individual requirements for each section, each type of employee. But I think that the key date here is the soft opening of June 1st for facilities. All of those facilities will be certainly within the governmental standards, public health standards of making sure that we're cleaning areas. We're going to have people wearing masks. We're going to eliminate meetings, keep social distancing, and that will be the same in the central business district too. We're going to have people wear masks on both sides, as our customers as well as our service providers, and keep social distancing when we're in the building.
So customers will be able to come into the downtown facility at the customer service center by June 1st?
That is the plan right now, Jim, and I think we're going to make the formal announcement. So stay tuned on by Friday. By this Friday, we'll make the hard decision. But we're thinking about June 1st right now for that soft open.
Got it. On that too, with the employees coming back, have you to furlough anyone, and are they getting hazardous paid? How is that working, or do you know?
We have not furloughed anyone, and so I would say any JEA employees. Now, some of the bigger construction projects that we've slowed down a little bit here and there. Nothing significant in terms of furlough, but slowing things down. In terms of the employees, we did have and worked out with our people that are on call and working these shifts to make sure that we don't have too many people working on a project at the same time, so we can sort of stagger the work. And did get a differential in terms of pay. Some call it hazard pay, but it was really standby pay, and it was comparable and similar to the structure that the city had for the police and fire and rescue.
Right. So, I mean, and I think some people are just kind of wondering, and it's as long as we're in a state of emergency, they are still getting that hazard pay. Or
yes, and I think that's part of the June 1st. That agreement ends on May 31st.
Okay. Approximately how many employees are we talking about? I should know, but I don't. Or do you know? I mean, overall, JEA has.
Active employees about a little under 1,700.
Okay.
Active employees.
I couldn't.
And generally, those that have that type of concept are certain bargaining unit employees
Right.
that are directly in the field and working outside the home.
Good. Lastly, and I know tomorrow they're going to be discussing the building, correct?
Yes.
And the plan is to scale it back somewhat. Is that what they're going to be talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this board is a great board and has great leadership with Chairman John Baker and certainly several members that had previously been on the board, and Bobby Stein and Marty Lanahan, and then the remainder are just outstanding citizens and key executives within the community. So JEA is very fortunate to have a board of this caliber. But there was a workshop last week, and you're right, there was a discussion at that level that gave us very good direction, us as far as management, good direction. Reduce the size of the facility, and that was an approximate reduction of 2 floors. It had been 9 floors down to 7 floors. Have an equal reduction in terms of the parking facilities, and we made some other modifications to overall reduce the cost of the building. So I think the plan now, that we'll present tomorrow will show cost savings, will show almost the exact same size of space for employees, because we've taken our critical employees and critical functions, and we're going to build another smaller building downtown, all within the same budget that we had for the original building, and still have $10 million in savings. And that will be a hardened facility. And what we'll do is take the components that of our electric and water system that need to operate in the event of a catastrophic event, and that's a hurricane or other weather event or other catastrophic event in Jacksonville, so we can maintain our operations and have it sufficiently staffed. And so we'll build that as well. The core, it's going to still meet all our safety standards. It's going to be a beautiful building and provide a safe and engaging work environment for our employees.
And I'm just looking at it, I know it's being built by the Ryan Corporation, correct? I mean, they're the developer, and then JA will lease from them.
That is correct. The original structure that was entered into, and I would say, I want to compliment Ryan as well, because Ryan, has an executed lease agreement to build JEA a building within certain ranges, and they've been very great to work with, and actually we're recommending, and I think we're going to get to even a smaller building than the smallest building allowed in the lease, if that makes sense. So Ryan was really helpful in us in terms of contracting and reducing the size and the cost.
And that's what I said, the cost of that, and I'm sorry that I just don't remember what their cost was for that structure. Do you, or approximately?
I would be absolutely wrong if I quoted it right now, Jim. So I'll have to get back to you on that.
I'll look it up. Not a problem.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But we will be saving. Will we then the rent per se or whatever will that be cheaper because of the smaller structure?
Yes. And so the savings range, I think, in terms, and this will all be part of the package. Sure. And I believe it's out there and posted now for tomorrow's meeting. And I believe the range is about 10 to 14 million in net present value savings over the duration of the lease.
Good. Paul, just a final question. You came in at a time, well, first off, in turmoil because of the two investigations that are underway, plus COVID-19. How has that been? I mean, did you ever expect anything like this?
I never expected anything like this, Jim. It is a challenging environment for everyone, and at JA. But more importantly, it's a challenging environment for many in our community, and that's what we can't lose sight of as a critical, utility service provider and infrastructure provider within the community. We serve the community. We're public servants, and we're here for the public good and public welfare, and so. Probably the most important thing we'll be doing over the next month or two is working with those customers as closely as we can, with as much empathy as we can, as we work to come back and hopefully they get their jobs and we get some stimulus money in place and employers open, and we can work on making sure that they can continue to have electric, water, and sewer services, and working with them on flexible pay plans, et cetera. But that's going to be a big challenge for us. And I'd have to say, if I can participate and be helpful in just a little way in helping our community, then it's more than worth it for me.
Very good. Anything I didn't ask you that you would like to get across, or anything else that?
I think that, the helping our community, we mentioned that, but I want to give assurance to everyone. We talked about in this interview a lot of the critical issues facing us in terms of COVID, and we've got a new building, but the operational security and performance of the underlying utility of JEA is still strong, and it is run by dedicated civil servants that have done a phenomenal job while there's been a lot of noise at the top. And so those hardworking, dedicated individuals have done a heck of a job, and they're prepared, and they come to work hard at earning everyone's trust. And they certainly have my trust and faith and confidence, not only as this interim CEO, but as a citizen of Jacksonville. So to them, we all owe a big thank you, and they're there for us, and we greatly appreciate it.
Very good, Paul. I appreciate that. I know you're busy, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim. You have a great day.
All right, you too.
Okay.